Let's take a look at a couple of replays and figure out what could have been done to maybe win those games. Often there are a lot of solutions, and maybe we can find one or the other that might be better than what our players have done here on these games. Let's go. Alright, first game here is the Autistic Microwave on the Leo 1, playing with the ratings combo, and apparently also playing in a ratings battle here, is going towards the middle. And I want to already pause here. We only just started, but I already have to point out something. And that is the following. You can see up there, see the lineup. We are having only 2 heavy tanks on his side, 1 heavy tank on the enemy side. And you can already think about, is that heavy likely to go for the heavy side all on his own? Or are all the mediums going over to the heavy side? Does it make sense to go to a position at the start where you aim for the heavy side? Or is that maybe not going to lead to any shots being put out? And that is definitely something you can already consider at the start, so always check the lineup first, because the amount of heavy tanks or medium tanks already tells you a lot about where the game is going to be played, and maybe you would be able to adjust your position in a way that you could put out some early shots right at the start of the game. And here, look at what is happening here. No one is crossing over to the heavy side. That 1 heavy tank would have to be very lost to go to the heavy side on his own. He is just spending seconds after seconds just not getting in any shot. That's a whole minute already that he spent here. What he could have done instead is to just move towards this position right there, to that little tree where you can have some cover, and he could just aim towards the bridge and could have already shot the mediums, could have shot the object 777. Another option would have been to go for the bush here, and he would have also been able to put out some first shots, would have maybe gotten in some spots, which definitely helps just collecting some information for the team, also gets you some XP credits, W on 8 and whatnot. So all these options would have already been more beneficial, which could have already been done just by judging the lineup properly. Still, he is in the middle and he is safe, so not all too horrible so far. Yet his teammate over there, the AMX50B, decided to just push in without much information. Our friend on the Leo 1 is putting in some nice shots, is in a good situation. I personally would just immediately load the adrenaline. There are a lot of tanks to the front, and he should try to get aggressive, because the 50B is losing a lot of hit points. And whenever your teammate is losing hit points, you have to make sure that you're also doing something, because otherwise, if you're just seeing like the total hit point pool that your team has and the enemies have, if your team is losing hit points and you're not doing anything, then the enemies will have more hit points compared to that, and you will just have a much lower chance of winning the game. So in the best case, whenever your teammates are under pressure, you immediately do something to pressure the enemies. Wherever you can do something, of course you still have to think about it and not put yourself at too much of a risk. So, our friend is moving up now, has so far not done all too much yet, I've got to say. He is aggressing slightly, still being very careful about it, but because his teammates are lower on hit points, his teammates are getting focused, and he should make sure that he is increasing the aggression. He has some hit points, although he doesn't want to lose hit points. He needs to do something here and just need to be a little bit faster there. Also, I've got to point out, maybe the aiming isn't 100% safe here. It feels like he just spends a lot of time aiming in, adjusting in sniper mode by some better pre-aiming. If you are aiming at the enemy before you're peeking out or before you're zooming in, and then also having the right sensitivity settings, then you might increase your aiming or decrease the time. All right, let's pause here again, because we are getting to a situation where it might be game deciding. We can see that most of the teammates died already. The enemies all pushing forwards up on that bridge managed to pick up the kill of the FE405. They are still quite healthy. We know that if we paid attention to the amount of hit points already. T62RA still quite healthy as well. And if we are just quickly taking a look at the other last remaining teammate, 858 hit points, not too many. T62A has some armor. Isn't the greatest tank though, because it lacks some damage output. The Leo 1 has mobility, has hit points, still in this situation has DPM. It is not great for close combat. So what is happening here? Our friend here, Autistic Microwave, is moving towards the enemies. But we are in a situation where we are 2 versus 3, so the enemies have the advantage. Why would you move towards the enemies there? Think about it. Like, yeah, the enemies have an advantage. You need to be careful then. They need to come at you so you can put out the shots and you can punish the enemies as they are approaching you. And in the best case, you bleed them down, they move into the open, they get overconfident, they do some mistakes and you can punish that. But you cannot move towards them, especially if you're not having any armor at all and if you are not having hit points, etc, etc, etc. I mentioned it. But he does find the T62A right to the front here, which is quite nice. He can potentially kill him. Actually, just judging the amount of hit points here, we've got a full life tank versus a 850 hit point. That's 3 shots here. My take would be to just move out here, try to track the T62A, try to get that kill in, because then we would be in a 2v2 situation and the chances would be much better. But the next one's already coming, so maybe not too bad that he did not pick out, but the T62 is YOLOing in, T62 going in, so you have to think about it. Do you take the shot of the Sheridan to maybe kill the T62A together now with the other T62A? And maybe you can also, afterwards, you can still shoot that Sheridan down. I think that would be my take here. He does not want to take any damage. But as he does not decide to put his hit points to the table here and help his T62A out, he needs to decide for something else instead. He needs to run away then. If he already expects the T62A on his team to die, then he needs to do something else and prepare for the fight in a 1v3 situation. Otherwise, he would need to go full in right now and help out in the best way possible. He peeks out, then it's too late though. The T62A dies, he doesn't get a shot in, still puts in a nice shot into the Sheridan, but now the enemies already killed the T62A and he is in a 1v3 situation, messed up the timing for running away safely, so now 3 tanks are approaching him and he cannot keep his hit points, takes a big shot off that Sheridan. Was it heat? Judging by the sound of it, was a heat. So, right. So not too great here for the decisions made right there. But we are still having a 1v3 situation that is not impossible to win. The T62A is a one-shot, Sheridan is fairly low on hit points as well, and the object is kind of slow, so maybe there is still a chance to deal with that one. What can you do here? There are basically 2 options, I would say. One option would be, of course, to get over here and just move towards this spot there, because you're having high ground, you are having a lot of angles that you can fire into, but at the same time, it's kind of predictable maybe, because the enemies are also still having eyes on him here. They can see him as he is rotating, and then they come from different sides that you might not be able to run away, and you might be kind of trapped here in this place. The enemies will all be there quite soon. It's not too far away from them. I mean, they are over there and they can shoot into this line. They can catch him over there. He cannot really run away safely anymore. Also, they have the base there that they can be taken. Option B would be to not go there. The other option, this is definitely too close. Of course, you can shoot them, but they are then also coming from 2 different angles, to the left and the right side here, and he is going to be trapped. So better option, he has a fast tank, go for some distance, try to drag the enemies towards you, take high ground, make the fastest enemies approach you first, and the slowest one will not even get to you, so you can kill the fastest ones and keep the slow ones for the very end. So my preferred option would be to go over here towards this hill and try to find like the Sheridan, the T62A. In the best case, he could kill them. Most likely it would be the Sheridan rushing at him. The T62A, if he isn't like a newbie and just just YOLOing in, then the T62A will play very carefully because he is a one-shot. So that would be my take there. But what is he actually going to do? And let's take a look. So he is deciding to go for basically the A cap, and he could actually maybe he could have stayed there just for a second, just to shoot into that bush, because you have the better accuracy than the Sheridan, and maybe you could have landed a blind shot because the Sheridan would maybe get greedy. So maybe putting him down to a one-shot would have worked out here. He decides to go forwards. Of course, it was a risk to take, but maybe it could have been worth it, I think, here. So he decides to move in over here, finds that Sheridan now. Alright, not great, but it's good because you can kill him. Just needs to go in here, takes a kill now. Luckily, the Sheridan actually bouncing off his Leo, so that was kind of unlikely. Very important here. You know, you have in the Leo, you have the great spotting mechanic that gets you unspotted after 7 seconds only instead of 10. So adaptive concealment, it's called. So you can just stay in one position for 7 seconds and then you move. Don't move immediately, because now the enemies know where you are heading and then you will be pre-aimed by them already. They can predict what you are doing based on what they have seen on the map, and otherwise they would maybe be having to guess a little bit more. He's coming out here. T62A is actually kind of trapped there, but we already have the information about the other one being in that encounter cap. So how can you kill that T62A without necessarily YOLOing in, exposing yourself too badly to the object? That's the question now. You have two options again, basically. One will be going from the left, one will be going from the right side. And again, he does not get unspotted. At this point, he is still spotted. He is moving out here, going towards the TD position, and there is the object, and he is getting punished immediately. Would have been very well avoidable. That was, I think that was a big misplay here. Then, I mean, what I would have preferred to do here. What would you have done here? Maybe you can think about it for a second. How could you kill the T62A by avoiding the object potentially? Or yeah, one option of course would be to just move around here, move immediately into the T62A. But of course, if you are doing so immediately, the T62A will just run away like this and will escape. So what you can do instead is to just use that moment while you're still being spotted for the 7 seconds, run into that direction, and then you turn around again and then go into the other side, towards the other side here, peek around that corner, hope that the T62A is still in that position and did not escape somewhere yet. So you can maybe kill that T62A, maybe otherwise you can put a shot into that object 777. You see, he is already exposing his rear. And maybe he would have turned around on time already, but there is a chance to maybe have one decapping shot. Otherwise, just kill the T62A would be so freaking important. So what is happening here? He tries an HE to decap, it seems like. It did not work out, but he lost hit points, and there was like not really any benefit to doing this move. Maybe he was trying to run away. Maybe he was doing exactly what he is doing, or thinking about doing exactly what he is doing right now, and that is just YOLOing towards a cap. But here he does have the high ground, so that is worth pointing out. Actually a clever decision to go up to the high ground where he has a bush and where he can shoot down onto the enemy and hide slightly. It's quite close to the encounter cap, but now it just needs to decap. Also 83, 84, 85 points already on the encounter cap, and he is going in now, trying to get that shot into to decap that base and taking a big shot here. Low on hit points now, right in front of the object, right in front of the T62. Is he going to be able to do this? Let's see here what he is doing, and that's the T62 coming, and he gets rammed and is just getting ram killed by the T62A. That wasn't all too elegant, actually. That ending wasn't all that perfect. Let's just go back again and check out what he could have done instead. So, after the previous decision that I would have already recommended to do otherwise, here I think time, pressure, just load HE, just over peek a little bit. The object cannot even shoot back in return. So just peek out a bit, just to rip down to wiggle down the gun and just go for that decapping shot. Just some HE into the track, and that already gives you another 2 minutes or 90 seconds for the 100 cap points, just so you can do something else. So he is moving in now. Does see the T62A. That is a crucial point here. Still, he is going in. Oh, I think Autistic Microref is panicking a little bit in this situation. What he could do here, he's not at risk of getting shot from that object at all. He can just move towards this spot or into that encounter cap just to give him some time. He doesn't even need to, because he has time, but he can just move close to that wall, is in that cap now. He can keep aiming to the left side. try to get the kill of the T62A. That would be so crucial to get. Maybe he's just trying to run away. I mean, he's not 100% sure to get that kill in the first place. But he is now kind of stuck here. So definitely he needs to get that kill of the T62. And he could have decapped the base from above already. Didn't need to fully commit here. Then if he was killing T62 and pushing in here, I mean, what's the alpha damage of object is 420. And if we are seeing, it would have likely been that he lost this, but he could maybe circle the object, maybe go for some track shots and run around and win the game like that, or even go for some distance again. I think it was definitely still winnable with these couple of decisions that could have been decided in a different way here. I hope this video helped you. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks for watching. This is Nino. Goodbye.